Ancient Egypt, an African civilization and its transformation through time. Welcome to History Uncovered, where we delve into the origins of civilizations and their evolving stories through the lens of history. The evidence suggests that its earliest inhabitants were Black Africans, whose legacy shaped one of humanity's most iconic cultures. Over the centuries, invasions and migrations brought profound changes to the region, altering its demographic and cultural landscape. In its earliest days, ancient Egypt, or Kemet, meaning the Black Land, was distinctly African. The people were closely connected to other Nile Valley societies such as Nubia and Kush, sharing physical features, cultural practices, and spiritual systems. Art, sculptures, and murals from the Old Kingdom, circa 2700–2200 BCE, depict Egyptians with dark skin, braided hairstyles, and features consistent with their African heritage. Their connection to the continent was undeniable, as they relied on the Nile's life-giving waters to sustain agriculture and trade networks that stretched deep into Sub-Saharan Africa. As Egypt rose to prominence, it became a target for foreign invasions. The Hyksos, a Semitic people from the Levant, infiltrated the Nile Delta around 1650 BCE during the Second Intermediate Period. While they brought new technologies like horse-drawn chariots, their rule was relatively short-lived, and the Egyptians reclaimed their sovereignty under the new kingdom. Despite these interactions, the core population remained predominantly African in appearance and culture during this period, as evidenced by statues, mummies, and hieroglyphic records. A significant turning point came during the late period, 664–332 BCE, when Egypt faced invasions by Assyrians, Persians, and eventually Alexander the Great, who established Greek rule. The Ptolemaic dynasty, founded by Alexander's general Ptolemy, introduced a Greco-Macedonian elite that ruled over the native population. During this era, there was a gradual blending of African and Mediterranean traits among the ruling class, although the majority of the population still retained their indigenous African identity. The Roman conquest in 30 BCE brought further changes. Egypt became a province of the Roman Empire, and its strategic location made it a melting pot for diverse groups from Europe, Asia, and Africa. Over time, intermarriage and migration began to influence the population's phenotype, blending African and Mediterranean traits. The most transformative change occurred with the advent of Islam in the 7th century CE. Following the Islamic conquest of Egypt in 641 CE, the region underwent a profound cultural and religious transformation. Islam gradually replaced the ancient polytheistic religions and Christianity, which had briefly flourished after the Roman period. Arabic became the dominant language, and Islamic practices permeated Egyptian society. Centuries of Arab migration and intermarriage introduced new genetic influences, further diversifying the population. Today, modern Egyptians reflect a complex heritage shaped by millennia of interactions between indigenous African peoples, Mediterranean settlers, and Arab migrants. Despite these changes, traces of Egypt's African roots remain. Early linguistic studies connect ancient Egyptian to the Afro-Asiatic language family. But today, new studies have found a deep linguistic connection with Bantu's family languages, and modern genetic analyses reveal significant continuity between ancient and contemporary populations in the Nile Valley. Additionally, cultural practices like hair braiding, communal ceremonies, and reverence for ancestors echo traditions still found across Africa. Through the millennia, Egypt has transformed, reflecting the layers of history it has experienced. Yet, at its core, it remains an African civilization, deeply connected to the continent that gave it life. Thank you for joining us on History Uncovered. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let us know which ancient civilizations you'd like to learn about next. God bless, and see you in the next episode.